If you listen to the modern progressive, you'll notice a common theme. Everything is horrible, the rich are preying on poor people, causing income inequality, and without the government's protection, Americans just can't make it in today's world. I want to show you a very brief part of an interview with an 89-year-old John Emory-Andrus in February of 1930, and I want you to think about what this 1930 interview tells you about today's Democrats.
Do you think there are more opportunities nowadays than when you were a young man?
I think there's 10 times, 100 times more opportunities today than there was then. New things are arising every day. And the man that has sense and can see them and choose that which is most congenial to his makeup is sure to make a success if he is persistent, untiring in the matter.
Do poor people have as many opportunities as rich people?
The world has made great progress with electricity and steam power that was unknown when I was a boy. And we have yet to think that the developments that are already developed in the world, we are yet in the infancy of the developments and the benefits that's coming from electricity.
This interview is from 1930, during the Great Depression, when people didn't have phones, clothes are washed by hand, no microwaves, no dishwashers, no electric AC in homes, and the plethora of countless luxuries that we enjoy today didn't exist. This is the same year Scotch tape was invented. Despite all that, this 89-year-old man is more optimistic about opportunities available to all, including the poor, through new technologies like steam power and electricity, and the opportunities they bring in terms of job creation and innovation along with it. Now juxtapose that with today's Democrats, who, in the midst of the best economy in American history, sing a very different tune.
2020 hopeful Senator Elizabeth Warren claiming the economy is not working for all Americans.
We can make this economy work for everyone, not just some. We have a country where our economy, our democracy, our government are working for those with money and not so much for anyone else.
But do the numbers and the voters agree?
3.5% unemployment rate in September, very low, historically low. 1.3 million more job openings than unemployed people to fill them.
Those are historic numbers.
Today's Democrats like Liz Warren remind us that the economy isn't working for middle and lower class people, it's only working for the wealthy. Today's Democrats preach that nothing is in your hands, nothing is in your control, you're a victim of the wealthy, and because of that, you deserve things. You deserve affordable health care, because affordable health care is a right. Why is being provided world-class health care at an affordable price, no matter what your income, a right? They never really do say, do they? Lefties have been targeting companies like Uber and Lyft, effectively abolishing the gig economy unless they provide benefits like health care to employees. So a company that enables anyone with a vehicle, a license, and insurance the opportunity to make some extra cash by providing a service in the form of a ride to people who need a ride, at what point in that transaction did you gain a right to affordable health care? You deserve free education, because free education is a right. Why is free education a right? Because we need to invest in our future, the generic Democrat platitude goes. Despite the government-run education system failing at every level, they need to make it more accessible. How else are they going to indoctrinate young people with leftist activism? You even deserve to be paid by the government. That's right, it's called universal basic income. You know, free money for nothing. Why do Americans deserve free money? Because automation and self-driving cars and trucks are going to destroy the workforce or something like that. Because never before has technology displaced an industry. I guess there were never horse carriages or trains or any sort of transportation industry at all. This is the first time technology has displaced some type of industry. You deserve affordable housing. That too is also a right. Just ask AOC. She says we have to make sure that housing is being legislated as a human right. What does that mean? What it means is that our access and our ability and our guarantee to having a home comes before someone else's privilege to earn a profit. Get it now? Receiving an affordable home is a human right. Earning profits is a privilege by which you must first get approval from 29-year-old bartenders like AOC. AOC then documented getting her luxury apartment in DC, saying, quote, I come into this building and it's marketed as a luxury building. I move into this luxury building in DC, and what does it have? It's an efficient building, it's It's clean, it has public space, it has rooftop garden, it has clean air, it has clean water. And I think about this and I'm like, this is what a luxury building is like, right? What we have been taught that is a luxury should not be a luxury. But that's not all. Beto O'Rourke declares a right to live close to where you work and that the rich should be forced to live among the poor. Why is that a right? Because rights are whatever Democrat voters want. All that stuff about human rights coming from God, which existed before government, and government's responsibility is only for upholding and protecting from the infringement of those human rights which are given to you by God. No. If Democrats want something for free, then it becomes a right. So in 1930, during the Great Depression, this American is enthusiastic about the opportunities for the poor to make something of themselves with new developments like steam power and electricity. Nothing about being helpless or deserving anything. And today, half of the Democrat Americans denounce the most prosperous society in human history because they deserve more. But how does half of America become so pathetic, so ungrateful, and so helpless? As Bruce Thornton writes, our high level of material existence, safety, and comfort is on an unprecedented scale. One consequence has been the elevation of expectations for our existence far beyond what's possible for flawed, passionate creatures like us. And these expectations never seem to be gratified, but only to escalate. These collectivist ideologies did see some success after initial enthusiasm, but invariably they failed because they couldn't meet the expectations they had raised. Young people today have a much higher baseline standard of material comfort and greater expectations for achieving their political ideals like universal free healthcare, guaranteed jobs, free college, social harmony, and equality of outcomes, but are continually disappointed and aggrieved because despite the serial failure of a century of socialist economies and social policies, our country hasn't been eager to repeat those failures. Despite what AOC and Beto and Liz Warren and all the left-wing socialists say, thanks to capitalism, everything is much easier. The urban hipster can go to the store and pick fruits and vegetables from all over the world, and they seem to think that this is the way it's always been, but it's not. They are historically ignorant and have no idea that this luxury is all very recent thanks to capitalism. Camille Paglia says, young people led by the likes of Bernie Sanders and AOC fail to realize that capitalism has produced this cornucopia around us, but the young seem to believe in having the government run everything and that the private companies that are doing things for profit around them and supplying them with goods will somehow exist forever. For the feminists, I insist that capitalism has produced the glorious emancipation of women. Today they can support themselves and live on their own and no longer must humiliatingly depend on father or husband. I just came across this video and thought how pathetic that in the 1930s, during the Great Depression, Americans were still nothing like Democrats today. But really, the leadership of the Democratic Party doesn't really believe in all this free crap, with exception to the Soviet Sanders. They say these things are rights to justify using the government to usurp the power necessary to give you those things. But it's just pathetic. It's pathetic that Americans who are living more luxurious than any other group in human history are dumb enough to believe this.